Hey, I'm glad to be here. I'm from good old Payson, Utah. How many of you know where Payson is? Yes, been to Payson? Onion Days? Yeah, so good old class of 95 in Payson, Utah. So a little bit about the Schramm fam. Born and raised in Payson. My wife and I, of course, high school sweet. Everyone has to marry someone from Payson, so I married her. And we moved around a little bit, came up to Utah State for my master's, went out to Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, War Eagle. Man, they're football. It's like religion out there. And then I went to Missouri, or right now, this time of year, it's misery, because it is like stinking hot and humid. So I'm grateful to be back. I was there for 9 years as a professor, extension specialist, came back to Utah 9 years ago. It'll be 9 years this summer. So it's grateful to be back home. My brother-in-law is the chief of police, Farmington. So man, yeah, I know these guys, and my son knows police all too well too. He's 17 and troublemaker. But okay, I remember my first time at Missouri, my first class was a huge auditorium, all kinds of huge class. It was like 800 people. And I remember teaching about parenting. I teach about parenting and marriage and family and happiness. And I came home and I was talking to my wife and I say, honey, it's the funniest thing. The students, they call me Dr. Dave. And our little 5-year-old daughter, she just started to laugh. And I said, what's so funny? She said, Dad, you're not a doctor. I said, actually, Mallory, I've been to 10 years of school, right? And I'm trying to convince this 5-year-old that I'm a doctor. And she looks up at me and she says, Dad, you're not a doctor. You don't help anybody. So it's like, help you a room, young lady, right? What was she thinking? Like medical doctor, real doctor. So I'm a PhD doctor, but I really do. I try to help people. And so I help people in the things that matter most in your lives. I'm guessing that for most of you, it's not your work. It's not your job, right? It's your family, right? It's the people closest to you. It's your kids and it's your partner, spouse, loved ones. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to share some things that I hope will be helpful in your work, but also we know work spills over into family life. So let me jump right in. This is Harold and Marge. Harold and Marge, they look happy, don't they? They're a couple and lived in Minnesota, so rewind back to COVID. I hate to bring it up, but man, go back to COVID. And they were going to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary in Orlando, Florida. Their flights got canceled. A lot of plans. Everyone's got, plans got canceled. It was just a horrible time. And so they said, okay, we're going to fly out next year. So they fly out. Their plans didn't quite line up. Harold, he flies out on Saturday. Marge flies down on Sunday. They're going to spend a week in the same hotel where they spent 50 years early. It's been updated and modified, renovated. So they're super excited to get out. It's been a long time. So Harold, he lands, checks into Orlando, into this hotel. He's like, wow, it's totally changed. He sees the little kiosk. He's going to send his wife an email, types up an email, hits send. Without realizing it, he leaves out one letter in her email, and he hits send. Meanwhile, in Houston, there's a widow whose husband is a pastor of the local church, and she comes home expecting messages from family members, loved ones. And she comes home and checks her email, and this is her checking her email. She screams, she passes out, hits the floor. Her son comes rushing into the room. He's like, Mom, what's going on? He looks at the screen and he reads in the subject line, it says, I've arrived. And it says, hello, honey, I know you're surprised to hear from me. They have computers here now and you're allowed to send emails to your loved ones. I've just arrived and been checked in. I see that everything has been prepared for your arrival tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you then. Hope your journey is as uneventful as mine was. P.S. It sure is freaking hot down here, honey. Love you, honey. Oh man, how many of you, have you ever done anything just boneheaded at work or sent something or a text and you're like, oh crud. Yeah, but it happens to all of us. But man, I'm telling you, the importance of smiling, being the lighter side of life is going to help you. It helps you to live longer, to be able to actually process your brain longer when you are happy and healthy. Okay, so let's talk first, 3 fundamental human needs. Every person in this room has the same 3 needs. Your kids, same 3 needs. The 3 needs, so let's talk about each of them. First one is safety. In fact, a lot of you work with, that's like what your primary job is safety, helping people to feel safe. That involves both physical and emotional safety. So like food, clothing, shelter, you provide for your kids, a house, and 3 meals a day and all that kind of stuff. But as well as emotional safety. Feeling like I can open up, like I can risk, like I can share something, even at work, like, hey, Bob, I wish we would do this differently, but if I share it, then, the person will get mad at me or they're a jerk or whatever. So emotional safety, even at home, teenagers feeling like they can share with their parents, or partners sharing, feeling like I can share something with you, but you're not going to get mad at me. That's emotional safety. When we have that met, it's a feeling of peace. Like, okay, when I feel safe, then there's not this constant stress or this worry, so I feel peace. So that's the first need everyone's born with. Second need, we're all born with the need for satisfaction. To do fun, enjoyable stuff, right? Our brains are drawn to actual pleasure and happiness, pleasure, different things. But they're drawn to like fun, excitement. So these are things like, hey, going out for a Netflix or pizza or bowling or just doing fun, enjoyable stuff. Also learning. How many of you love or YouTube, you're scrolling, you're like, oh, this is interesting. Our brains are fascinated with new and novel and fun stuff. And when that need is met, it's a feeling of contentment, right? Got the game on, got my bowl of chips and snacks, and I'm like, life is good. So that's the need for satisfaction. The third need that we're all born with is the need for connection. Every single one of us are born with this longing for belonging, this craving for connection with other people. Most of you in this room work with other people, or go home to other people in our lives, and we can strengthen those through like service and compassion and gratitude and kindness and all those forgiveness, all those types of quality, strength, and connections. And when that need is met, it's a feeling of love. So now think about it. COVID comes along. COVID is one of the few things that actually wiped out all three needs in a matter of a couple of days. Just think about it. Safety. Oh man, everyone's wearing masks and all this, getting shots and all that. Satisfaction. Oh, can't go out to dinner, can't go bowling, can't go to the movies. Connection, can't see my parents, can't see the neighbors, can't go to church, whatever. Everyone is like isolated. Isn't that crazy? So historically, happiness nerds like me that follow these trends, historically, we hit the lowest level of happiness that we've ever had. Is that crazy in 2020? Why specifically? Because the three needs were not met. Interesting. What makes for a great workplace? Well, I'll share a little bit about that. People that meet the three needs. Safety, satisfaction, connection. Great parents, safety, satisfaction, great marriages, safety, feel like emotional safe. We do fun things where it's enjoyable, and we feel connected. So this is honestly one of the keys to happiness in this life. Safety, satisfaction, and connection. Okay, so when I was at Mizzou, University of Missouri, I conducted the shortest survey that I've ever done, and it was just a couple questions. I asked over, 1,900 people to respond. And the first one was, to me, life is all about, just fill in the blank. And in your minds, just answer that. I won't ask anybody that. But if you could fill that out, my survey out, with just one or two words, what would you put in there, honestly? To me, life is all about peanut M&Ms, right? Or whatever it is. Whatever, what would you put in that? And the second one, if I died tomorrow, what I would miss the very most, if something happened to me today or tonight, what I would miss the very most would be, and fill in the blank. Honestly, what would you put one or two words in each of those questions? Okay, so I asked all these people, I looked at all of the answers, and this first one, boom, 45% said family, children, relationships. 23% said, to me, life is all about happiness or positivity or satisfaction, helping and serving others. A lot of you, in fact, you're dedicating your life, like a big chunk of your entire life is what? It's like helping, serving others. It's not about you, it's about other people. 11% said life is about the journey, the experiences, the choices. 7% said God or religion. Another 7% said improving yourself or change. Okay, let me ask you this. What is not on there? Glaringly obvious. What is it? What is not on there? Your job. Your job, yeah. Like less than 1% said, to me, life is all about work. I just can't wait to get up and go to work. Now, that's not to say that we can't love our job. I love what I do, right? I assume that you went into your job because you love what you do. But most people I found, they work so they can go home and spend time with their family, right? They don't spend time with their family so they can go to work. It's the other way around. So they live to work, or they work to live, not live to work. 1.8% said anything about work or money. Again, those are important, but when it comes to the very most important things in life, is way down on the scale. Okay, if I died tomorrow, what I'd miss the very most would be, think about that one. Okay, now I learned something about surveys and how you ask questions. The wording of questions can throw people off. Anyone notice anything just weird about just how I asked that question? If I died tomorrow, what would I miss? Yeah, I'd be dead, man. Breathing. Yeah, that's what I'd miss most is breathing. Absolutely. I had some smart Alex say things like that. Or I'd be dead. Can't miss anything when you're dead, dude. I was like, okay, man, just get over. Okay, look past that. Just answer the question, dang it. Okay, I actually had a couple people say Chick-fil-A. You know what? If I died, I would just miss Chick-fil-A. Man, you're weird. Okay, another one said my cows. My cows. I was like, all right. No, hey, yeah, you do you, man. Okay, but most people, 86% said family, children, relationships, right? Some of them were the same answer to the first question. The other 14% life, laughter, someone said nothing, experiences, children, that kind of stuff. So majority, this life is about what? Relationships. And think about three needs: safety, satisfaction, and connection. It's connection. It's connecting with colleagues at work. It's connecting with others. Okay. So savvy businesses are catching on. In fact, yeah, so when I drive I-15, shoot, cops are going to pull me over one of these days. I take pictures of billboards, mostly safely, right? Because it's interesting that they're catching on to this. They know that what is life, what's most important to people, it's not their cars, it's their family. So they're using this in advertising, right? Think family, think caring. Welcome home, R.C. Willie, right? They're saying, welcome home. Yeah, this is, if you want to be happy, have home loans that make you feel like home. I don't know has anyone ever had a home loan that just feels, I feel so good now. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, Hanson, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. People, not employees. Have you seen that, right? We focus on people. You're a person here, right? Cool code and still see your family. So they're saying, okay, yeah, you can have a great job, but we know what's most important to you. You can still see your family. Do you see the trends here going on with the marketing? Yeah, new approach to family time. Come ride a bike and break your neck and spend time with your family. Kindness. Kindness is key. Even a few years ago, the NCAA, you know, every year they have like different things, little things on their shirts. Boom, this one was family. You see everyone, oh yeah, here we're family. Even Olive Garden, yeah, when you're here, you're family. Oh, come on in, Craig. Yeah, we know. No, they don't know you, but they want to make you feel like family. So several years ago, then I did my own little research, and I looked at the best places to work in America. And there's actually people who do this, and I just looked at what they said. And I looked at the top 46 places to work in the United States. And all these places across the whole country, they all submit why they think they're a great place to work, and they fill out all these surveys. And then I analyzed it, and I said, okay, what are the very top ones? And then I actually went and I visited them, and I watched, and I interviewed CEOs, and I kind of said, okay, what is it really? And I wanted tours of their place just to kind of, you know, they probably said, everyone be on their best behavior, right? We're a happy place to work. So happy and smile when Dr. Dave comes through. So more than 139,000 employees served across all these businesses across the country. 346 make the top best places to work. And those are the ones that I'm like, all right, I'm curious. What is it? What does it really makes a good place to work? And it was why we think we're a great place to work. So all the CEOs, the managers, they had 100 words to say why we're a great place to work. And they would fill this out. And then I went through and this is before AI, dang it. Now I'm like, oh man, I could have just thrown all that in AI. But I went through every one and I started piecing out, okay, what are the themes and the words? I started analyzing all of this. And then I was able to give a TED Talk, TEDx Talk is what they call it in Florida. Notice the date, January 17th, 2020. Yeah, what happened like a couple weeks later? Yeah, all hell broke loose, man. The world ended, yeah, for a couple of years. Yeah, so I was there and I talked about family fundamentals and I shared a little bit about why great workplaces and families and what they have in common. And this is some of the things that I found. Holy smokes. This is the number of times that a word was mentioned across the company's descriptions of why we think we're a great place to work. So the word culture, man, it came up over and over and over. Yeah, team. Oh man, just pop it. Yeah, you're good. Just pop it. Yeah, see, you're good. Yeah. Okay, team came up. Oh, people, values, environment, the fun, encourage all this. Okay, now, think back. What are the three needs? Totally forgot. Holy, this is going to be a long... Okay, Care, there you go. You get extra credit in my heart. Okay, safety, satisfaction, and connection, right? So now let's align the best places to work in the whole country and the 3 needs. And they mentioned things like, oh, the environment, the benefits, and it was supportive and help and care. What about satisfaction? Oh man, the perks, the growth, we have fun here. And then connection, culture, team, people, values. And then boom, right there, the word family came up. They mentioned that. Oh yeah, here, it is family. It feels like family. We do a lot of things together. It is fun. It's adventurous. So it was interesting that these 3 needs mapped and aligned right on those same areas. So a couple of implications. First, when leaders and managers treat employees like family, they're more likely to flourish at work. Would you agree? When people are actually nice to you, yeah, it's kind of nice, right? Then they're more likely to flourish. So when employees flourish at home and are happy with life, they're more likely to flourish at work. So when things are not going well, for example, at home, and you guys are arguing or whatever, your kids are you're stressing you out, and then you go to work, but you just left with, right, chucking a can at you and your cars, you're speeding off, or your teenager or your spouse someone said something mean and nasty to you as you're going to work. Yeah, what are you thinking about at work? What kind of mood are you in? Yeah, when you get into work. It's a total spillover. If when things are not going well at home, it spills over at work. When things are not going well at work, it spills over at home. This vicious cycle is happening. So I'm here to share some things that will hopefully be helpful both at work and at home to strengthen your relationships and in your personal life to help things go better. Okay, so 3 needs. Let's talk a little bit about these. Safety. Physical safety is, okay, yeah, is it pay, benefits? Most of you have. No, yeah, man, this is, I'm assuming most of you didn't go into this for the money. Is that a safe assumption, right? That you did it for a higher need, but having the basics. Hey, can I take care of my family? Can I provide? Can we go on a vacation once in a while? Physical safety. And then emotional safety. Do I feel like I can share my thoughts, my perspective, my opinion? Now, some of you are managers or directors or leaders in the areas that you're in. Think about that. Do people feel like that they can share? Do people feel like they can approach me and share a concern, maybe a complaint, something that's not going well with me? Or will I just think less of them? Will I criticize them? Will I laugh at them? That's that emotional safety. Feeling like I can approach others in the city, directors, bosses. This is a huge one. This is a huge one. We'll come back to it. Satisfaction, perks, fun, flexibility, growth opportunities, feeling like, yeah, this is enjoyable. I love what I do. People who love what they do, they say, yeah, I've never worked a day in my life because I absolutely love what I do. Workloads, wellness, clear communication, feedback mechanisms, all this provides for the same type of thing in the families and the workplace. When this is going well, man, people are more likely to flourish. Do I have meaning? Do I have a sense of meaning and purpose in what do I do? Am I happy? Is what I'm doing, how does it affect my happiness? How does it spill over and affect other people as well? Why? Let's talk a little bit about this. What happens inside of the human brain and the body when you are happy and positive? It's crazy what happens inside of our bodies and our brains. We're up to 3 times more creative, 31% more productive. How many of you would love to be 31% more productive? It's like, man, sign me up, Dr. Dave. Absolutely. When the brain is positive and happy, it's open to new possibilities. Negativity narrows and positivity. When you're stressed out and negative and cranky and ornery, it totally narrows down and you're more likely to be critical of others. Energy increases when you're happy. Intelligence, accuracy improves. They've done studies with doctors and others. They're more accurate in their diagnoses. Actually, when they are happy and positive, less sickness, more focus. Happiness, in fact, fuels every single outcome that they have ever measured in any study. When you're happy at home, happy personally, it spills over. Much more accurate, approachable. People actually like you. Yeah, when you smile and they see that you are happy. How many of you absolutely love, hanging around people who are critical, sarcastic, mean, ornery, cranky. You just love those people. Like elbow to the person to your left. Yeah, no. So what happened? Many workplaces, they nail the first two needs of safety and satisfaction. It's like, okay, yeah, your pay is what it is. Yep, we enjoy kind of what you do. The key to retention and productivity is connection. Here's what it is. I'm telling you, you guys have maybe worked different jobs and things. My wife, she worked at a preschool. She doesn't have any background. Her education was not in anything preschool related, but when we first got to Utah State, she's like, oh, there's a friend and said, hey, you should come volunteer at the preschool. It turned into a job. She was there 4 years, and she absolutely loved those kids, and those kids absolutely loved her. And so the preschool in the morning, she'd go out, she'd get down on her knees, and those kids would run to my wife, and she would hug them, and she'd be silly with them. Why did they love her? Because they connected with her. They connected with her on this fun, enjoyable level. And then why did she leave? Because things got crazy up above, and all these new things, management and how people were being treated. She's like, okay, I have had enough. She didn't leave a job. She left a boss. That's why people leave. So that's why this connection, establishing, making sure you feel connected with others, coworkers. And here it is. Here's the key. Here's one of the take-homes is this. Lack of attention leads to loss of connection. Lack of attention leads to loss of connection. And that happens whether that is at home, that's at work, spiritually, whatever that is. You stop paying attention to what other people, like, your high school friends, some of you are like, oh man, I don't know who this person is in this yearbook or whoever it is. You stop paying attention to them and you lose that connection with them. So it's the little things you do every single day intentionally that strengthens connection with others. Yeah, so what's one of the greatest gifts you can give another person? It's not your time. It's not your time. Everyone used to spell love is spelled T-I-M-E. We need to spend more time together. No. You can spend time together and be sitting on your phone or not saying a word at a movie or whatever. No. It's attention. That is the golden gift today, is your eyeballs and actual paying attention. You can actually spend time with someone and your mind's wandering. Yeah, have you ever been like, oh yeah. And they're going on and on talking to you and you have no idea what they're talking about because your mind's wandering. That's the great gift, is your attention, investing that attention. Okay, so 3 needs then at work. Connection, talking about gratitude, kindness, appreciation, just simply expressing that gratitude. We'll talk a little bit about more about gratitude here in a minute. Compassion, empathy, those are huge in relationships, just the little things. Hey man, thanks a lot for grabbing me that. Kindness. I grabbed it, hey, Diet Coke or whatever you guys are drinking. For you, hey, I was thinking about you. I did something kind, little tiny things. As I approached these workplaces and I went throughout, holy smokes, I saw the bosses sitting at the lunch tables talking with them, and they'd go through and they're fist bumping their employees. And they're like, hey man, how's it going? Hey, how'd your son do the football game last night? It's like, what? I didn't even know that I had a son or even that he did play football, right? You pay attention to the people and their lives and what's going on and their kids and do you know their birthday and all this stuff that you ask about. So be invested in that. Give people the kindness, that attention. Gratitude, holy smokes. 81% of employees said they would work harder for a grateful boss. Raise your hand if you agree with that. I don't care if your boss is here or not. Would you work harder when you are recognized and be like, holy smokes? Let me pull you in here for a second. I just got to let you know how grateful we are to have you on our team. Like, you're knocking it out of the park. All I hear is positive comments from people. You walk in and the room gets brighter. How many of you would love to hear that? Yeah. But what do we tend to remember? Okay, you go in for, you guys have like annual reviews or job, things where you go in and you talk, okay, let's talk about this. Okay, let's say that for, let's say it's a half hour, right? 28 minutes, it's just glowing, glowing, glowing. And you're like, man, you're awesome. You're getting all these positive reviews. You haven't had any complaints and all this stuff. And then right before you go, they say one thing. But actually, I need you, Teresa here. I don't know, your name's probably not Teresa. Teresa, to work on this one thing. We have had things, so I really need you to focus on this and improve on this. Okay, and if I left with that and Teresa walks out the door, what's she going to be thinking about the whole rest of the day? It's that one dang thing, isn't it? That is like, man, it was critical, or that area of improvement. So, which may be important, but our brains are wired to focus on the negative stuff. Oh yeah, they're wired to focus on negativity instead of positivity. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit. So watch how you talk and how you frame things and share things and connect with people. But man, express that gratitude. 35% report never being thanked by a manager. This one is sad. In my mind, this one is so sad. More than a third of employees on average across the country have never been thanked by a manager. So if you're a manager or director in here, oh man, yeah, you're taking notes, you're sending text right now. Hey, just letting you know I'm grateful for you. Oh, you got to say it often, frequently. Talk to your kids. Yeah, oh man, you got to be able to share that. Let them know how grateful that you are for them. That building that connection, I'm telling you, so I'll pause a little story right here, how important this is in your relationships. And I get it with this works with kids, with anyone else. But man, have you ever done this with another person or your child? Everyone has, right? So I was doing that. We were in Missouri. And our oldest, she was like 11, 12, 13, she knows everything and I don't know anything. And we were doing this. I was like, man, this is driving me nuts. So it was a Saturday and she took off. And then I asked the question that will change your life. And that is, if I were to give my whole heart to this person, what would occur to me to do? That question will change your life. If I were to give my whole heart to this person, what would occur to me to do? And then I paused for a minute. Right? I pause, notice the nudges, follow the feelings. And I had this little nudge. I'm like, all right, I need to do her laundry for her. And the first thought was, man, I don't even know how to do laundry. I was like, honey, can you help me do her laundry? So, right, do our daughter's laundry. I folded it up. I put it on her bed and I put a little note and a little Hershey's kiss on the bed because we've been doing this. Kindness, gratitude, kindness, gratitude. If I want to build a relationship with someone, it's kindness, gratitude. So I put that on there, put a little note, put a Hershey's kiss on there. And on that note, how many of you tell your kids, your spouse, you love them? How many of you tell them you love them? You tell them often, you love them. I love you, love you, love you. Okay, in addition to that, once in a while, sprinkle in something else. And that's this. And this is what I put on the note. I said, hey, Chandler, I just want to let you know that I absolutely love being your dad. Oh, man. You see how it's different? That felt different, didn't it? I absolutely love being your dad. Because I tell her I love her. Hey, I love you, love your buns. But sometimes it just feels like it's almost overused and it loses some of the flavor, the impact. But I said I absolutely love being your dad. Phew. Can you imagine sending a text to your sweetie? Hey, I absolutely love being your husband. It's the joy of my life. Or I absolutely love being your mom or your wife, whatever that is, okay? Now, if you get one from your boss, it's like, I absolutely love being your boss. Okay, that's a little weird. Don't do that. Yeah, it's crossing lines. But do you see what that does? Expressing gratitude, kindness, love, appreciation, those little things. So yeah, when Chandler comes in and she sees that, now maybe it's not like magical and she's like, oh, dramatic, comes give me a hug. I love you too, Dad. No, it's like wishful thinking for a 13-year-old. But it did start to melt some of that because when someone serves you or does something kind and you're doing this with them, it does. It kind of starts to melt some of that animosity and the chaos between you when all of a sudden you come in and a Diet Coke from Swig is sitting on your desk and it's a little note being like, hey man, yeah, sorry about the beef or whatever we've been going through. Yeah, appreciate you. You're a good dude. Whatever, however you express it, do it. Because man, that helps tons. Okay, people who feel recognized are 23% more effective and productive, but those who feel like the people around them really care are 43% more productive. Read that one again. Interesting the difference. Feel recognized. Hey, you got employee of the month, or hey, here's your badge, or hey, here's your parking spot for the next week, front row, or whatever you guys do to celebrate. That's good. That's good. But man, letting them know that you really care, going to lunch with them. Yeah, I had a boss or a dean in the college, University of Missouri. He's got all kinds in the whole college of people. But he took me and like 3 others in our department out to lunch. Just listen to us. He's like, give me some feedback. Tell me about your families. And he actually cared. Holy smokes. All of a sudden in my mind, I was like, wow, that's crazy. This guy is amazing. He's not just some guy in this tall building that I never see. Go to lunch, talk with people. Yeah, interact. Let them know that you care. With 66% of employees, 76% millennials, there's some millennials in here, say they would likely leave their job if they didn't feel appreciated. Holy smokes. Yeah, if you work with others, you better start letting them know. It goes back to that people leave people, they don't leave jobs. People leave people. So expressing that, feeling appreciated, recognized at work. Recognition is about performance. Appreciation is about people. That is clear difference. Does that make sense? Recognition, hey, you did this, you did service, or you saved a life, or whatever it is. Yeah, you did your job, but man, I appreciate you as a person. Feels different. That's different. Okay, connection. The one-on-one, I talked a lot about some of the meals, taking interest in employees' lives, more than just superficial type of communication, but actual getting to know people and their interests. Respect, being transparent, being approachable, authentic. It is, man, that connection. People are more likely to connect if you're just like for real, just down to earth. Hey, this is me. This is who I am. Talking with people, opening up, sharing, being vulnerable leads to more connection. And one of the strongest is a positive, happy person, which we'll spend now some time talking about. Yeah, people like to hang around positive, happy people. So here it is. How many of you, you get into an elevator or whatever, and the person's like, hey, how you doing? Okay, now that's like obnoxious. So you don't want, there's a limit here to like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, be careful with some of that. But generally, people like happy people, okay? So here are some predictors. This is actually a study BYU of how long and how well people live in this life. And there's all kinds of, so this is not all the factors because there's way too many, but this is a little slice, gives you a little sense of clean air, not a very strong predictor, unless you live in Cache Valley in this winters. That's awful. Okay, hypertension treatment, being lean versus overweight, interesting. It's like years ago, it was like, oh man, how important. It's not as strong. Exercise is actually, in other studies, is more like down here. The cardiac rehab, flu past that one. Flu vaccine, quitting drinking, quitting smoking. Okay, what are the top 2 predictors of how long and how well you're going to live? Yeah, they've studied this. We know, just by asking you a few questions, how long on average that you're going to live and how happy you're going to be. Close relationships is number 2. So what's the number 1 predictor of how long you're going to live in this life? It's crazy. It is quitting online shopping is the number 1 Nah, man, just kidding. Just seeing if you're awake. I'm telling you, snap this and send it to your wife. Be like, honey, you're going to die if you don't get off of Amazon or Etsy or whatever you're on, man. No, it's really, or QVC for, my mom. Yeah, you got to get off that stuff. No, it's really not that. Just seeing if you're paying attention. It's actually social integration. It's this. Do you know that? Who you work with, if they are ornery and cranky, just grumpy, run, man. You got to get another job. Move. Get something, because this is going to kill you. Social integration. So what's the difference in close relationships and social integration? Glad you asked. Okay, going back to COVID. Close relationships are all the people you're quarantined with. Basically, like immediate family. Social integration, all the peeps you couldn't see because you were quarantined. It's this. Right? You didn't see each other as much probably, or they had to wear masks and all that stuff. Social integration. So it's this. This is actually a huge predictor. Your close relationships at home, your relationships at work, if both of those are sour, sorry, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it very long. Look at this. Why? Because stress will kill you faster than anything else. Like ornery and you're not happy and all that stuff. This is horrible. Yeah, horrible at home, horrible at work. Why should I live, basically? Yeah, who you spend your 16 hours a day, that's what the strongest predictors. So what happened? This positivity pyramid, when I finally understood this, I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense. So I'll talk about it both as employees, but as parents as well. Up at the top, some of you are in the role of, how many of you ever had to correct anybody else? Or whether it's your kids or employee or whatever it is. Like our lives, a lot of it is about correction. It's like, oh, okay, next time when you do this, if you'll do that instead. At home, batting practice, football, whatever it is, okay, correction. You got to do this better or differently, or that's not how this is done. Or you handle, right, disputes, you cops, right? There's a correct way and there's a not correct way. Maybe more effective, but not correct way to do things. Correction up at the top. For me as a parent, it took me forever to finally learn that my kids will not, they're not going to really get the correction unless I'm giving them what I call teaching or direction. So direction, then correction. So ultimately, we'll do less correction in your jobs at home as parents or wherever in life if we're better teachers. Okay, we instruct, hey, this is the rules. This is actually how you handle this. And when this goes sour or a citizen does this, you actually have to respond this way. Don't, take the hook and go off on them. So teaching and correction. And then I was like, oh, okay, so I've got to be a better teacher and help people understand things. And then it dawned on me, my kids won't listen to me unless they like me. Holy smokes. For me, this was relationships with employees, with others, with your kids. They will not listen to you unless they like you. So the whole key with this is connection, then direction, then correction, in that order. Okay, so tell me your name. Bill? Dylan. Okay, so let's say that Dylan can't stand me. Hopefully that's not right, Dylan, but let's say Dylan can't stand me at all. And I'm like, oh, hey, Dill, what do you need to do here? You need to do this way. Okay, I need to correct you on this. And then I walk off and Dylan's like, dude, what a jerk or whatever. How likely is he going to do, if he can't stand me and I just corrected him to do something and I walk away, you're going to like elbow your buddies and be like, this dude is a jackwagon, right? That's what you're going to say. Because you see that whole thing? But if you like somebody, we go to lunch and we're like homies and like, oh man, and I spill my burger sauce or whatever on your pants. If we're like chums and homies, he'd be like, oh, dude, what'd you do? Or he'd be like, oh, no problem, right? And get a whack. But if you can't stand me, the way that I hold my fork, it's going to drive you nuts, right? Connection is everything. Your relationship with each other is everything. Your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your kids is everything. You try correcting your kids and your teen can't stand you, they're going to rebel. They're going to do it the other way no matter what. Does that make sense? So your job is connection. And lack of attention leads to loss of connection. Connection first. Don't try teaching somebody anything. New person comes into the office and you just start going off. No, man. Go out to lunch first. Talk to them. Ask them about their family. Connect with them. Connection, direction, correction. If the world would understand this principle, holy smokes, it would go better. Think about that. And who wants to connect with just an ornery, cranky person? Nobody does. Yeah, in fact, smiling, happy people, that's who people want to connect with. Their favorite people in the world are those who are happy. Favorite parents in the world, those who are happy. I ask my kids, ask your kids. You have kids? Ask, hey, school just got done or whatever, you ask them, tell me about your favorite teacher. Who's your favorite teacher this year? Seriously, dude, this is a homework assignment. Go ask them or your grandkids. And then they'll say, oh yeah, Mrs. White. Oh, really? Why? Why was Mrs. White your favorite teacher? And what are they going to say? Because she was nice. Yeah, and they got me. My son, he's a junior, getting ready for his senior year. Holy smokes, I ask him, what's your favorite teacher, dude? He's like, and he'll say a teacher, and I'll be like, why? And he has nothing to say about like the class because, they're really good at math. No, he would never say that. It's like, we're tight. She's my homie. She gets me. She fist bumped me when I come in. She asked me about football or whatever. She actually cares about my son. Yeah, and then because she has a relationship with him, then she can teach. Okay, class, this is now what we're going to do. Or if something's going on, okay, let me help correct this. No, that's not how we do it. But yeah, and then I say, okay, who's your least favorite teacher? And then he tells me. I say, why? Because they're a jerk. Okay. But tell me, why are they a jerk, right? And what is it? They don't have a relationship with him, and that teacher calls them out, embarrasses them in class, or whatever it is. Does that make sense? This principle right here is everything in the workplace, at home, in marriage, in parenting, right here. This is it. Okay, now let me ask you. It's been 43 minutes since I've been talking. Raise your hand. You got to be honest, okay? This is a quick honesty check. Raise your hand if your mind has wandered, your eyes have been up here and you're like maybe nodding or whatever, but your mind has wandered off. Raise your hand. Raise it high. Raise it high. You guys are liars. You guys are liars. The rest of you are liars. Yeah. How do I, my wife says, honey, you can't call people liars. Okay. You guys are not telling the truth. How do I know that? Because 47% of the time when you're engaged in an activity, you're thinking about something other than what you're doing. Honestly, yeah. Think about it. When you're engaged in something, 47% of the time, they've done, this is with 15,000 people, so they know this is pretty accurate. And it ranges. It ranges from grooming, self-care. So you don't have to raise your hand. I took a shower this morning. I won't ask you that, but think about that. When you're in the shower, ladies, you're shaving your pits. You're like, oh, this pit's looking really good this morning. No, that's weird. Don't do that. No one does that. But seriously, when you're taking a shower, where's your mind? It's not on, oh, yeah, let me get the back of my leg here. Wow, that's looking good. Look at my tan line. No, your mind is typically wandering all over the place, isn't it? That's normal. In fact, some of the greatest thinking happens when you're like not stressed and you can mind wander a little bit. Okay, commuting. How many of you ever driven to work or you've driven home and you pull in and you're like, how the heck did I just get here? Yeah. It's called, pay attention. Yeah, everybody. And if you're not in laughing, everybody else is doing the same thing. They're like, whoa, man, I just go through and hopefully the light's not red. You're just kind of on autopilot. Okay, listening to music or doing housework, you're working. How many of you, okay, what is it, 50%? 50% of the time at work, on average, you're doing something. Where's your mind? It's not on your work. It's on something else. And that's kind of scary as well. What about shopping? Yeah, your mind's out taking care of your kids. Okay, how many of you, your child comes up after and they're like, oh, dad, guess what? And you're like, oh, what happened? And they start telling you, and then the story's like 7 minutes later, and you're like, oh, yeah, well, okay. And then they leave, and you're like, I have no clue about what happened, what the word he said in the last 7 minutes. Guilty is charged. Yeah, our minds wander a lot, especially if they're constantly begging for our attention. Okay, reading. How many of you got through high school or college, and you're like, man, you read for 20 minutes, and you shut the book in the chapter, you're like, well, that was a waste. I don't remember a thing that happened in that chapter. Reading at mind wanders. Eating, exercising, talking. Okay, this is a big one. Next time you're with your homies, you're just like talking and chilling, and they're like, you're telling a story, and they're like, oh yeah, Once just slip in like, yeah, my grandma, she went to the moon last week. It was crazy. And they just keep talking just to see if they're like, oh, wow, that's wild. I'll bet that was fun. Just to see if they were mind wandering, if they're actually listening. Because yeah, a third of the time you're not picking up what I'm dropping down in front of you. We're talking with others. Okay, now that last one. Okay, don't ask your partner about that last one. Yeah, you might not like the answer. Okay, but our minds wander a ton. Okay, and just for kicks, Zoom. How many, you guys been on Zoom calls? You guys ever been on, whatever, Google Meet or whatever? How often does your mind wander then? Yeah, so I'm guessing it was like 99, 98% of the time. That's probably underestimating, but our mind wanders a lot. And the research shows a wandering mind is not a very happy mind. Because where do we tend to wander to when we're wandering? We tend to kind of wander off into the stress and the worries, the things that are coming up, things that make us mad, angry. So one of the keys to happiness and positivity in this life is paying attention to the present moment, who you're with and what you're doing. The happiest people on this planet, they found out from that study, are those people who can learn to pay attention to who you're with and what you're doing in the present moment, not wandering all over the place. So what happens is that this is not going to be very shocking. All of us experience emotions in the present moment, okay? Ooh, Dr. Dave, that was brilliant. Okay, all of us experience, when else you experience emotions. But notice this, many of our emotions, we experience them now, but they're anchored in the past. For example, look at this list. Grief, sadness, anger, right? All of these emotions, regret, guilt. It's something that I'm feeling now, but it happened in the past. For example, anyone have pets? Anyone have dogs? Anyone have a Yorkie? So we had a Yorkie for 9 years, and this Yorkie passed away this past December. And this Yorkie used to sleep, like my wife wanted to sleep with her on her side, and he'd always scratch his way out and then come over and like scratch my shoulder, and I'm like, okay, get in, buddy. And Max would come in, and he just loved me for some reason, even though I didn't really like him. And I grew to love him a little bit. But he passed away, so it was traumatic, and he had liver disease and stuff, and we had to put him down. That was awful. And then we buried him in the backyard, put a little stone back there. And the other day I was mowing the lawn, right? We have a big yard, so lawnmower, riding lawnmower, and I rolled past Max's little stone there. And I paused for a second, and I actually got a little teary. Because I remember, man, the dog drove me nuts, but I really liked that dog. He grew on me. So it happened, he died, like 6 months ago. But I thought about it, and it made me sad again. It was a past, does that make sense? It was anchored in the past. You can make yourself angry right now just by thinking about something the boss said, or this guy, or this person that did something in the past. You can actually start to increase your heart rate by thinking about what's happened in the past. And this, you kind of get worried, and your heart starts racing. All this. Now, what I'm not saying, please don't misunderstand. What I'm not saying is you should never feel anger. You should never feel sadness. No. I'm not saying that at all. When you're sad, be all in, ugly cry, sad. It's actually healthy. Be in that emotion. When you're upset, be in that emotion. But just don't set up camp in the past. Does that make sense? It's okay to look at the rearview mirror of life, but just don't stare at that forever. Yeah, that's not healthy. So, yes, we experience those past emotions. What about future emotions? Holy smokes. Anxiety, fear, stress, worry, that's always, we experience it now, but it's always future oriented. Right? We were worrying, this hasn't happened yet, but I'm kind of stressed, or I'm worried. I've had this argument with my wife, but now I'm worried about what's going to happen at home. And it's forward thinking, forward, stress, worry. Again, I'm not saying, we should never have stress or worry in our life. No, of course you're going to do that, but pay attention. Pay attention. Don't set up camp in the future as well. So, this is interesting. Notice the emotions that are right there. Some of those spill over into the future and in the past. But notice the emotions of happiness and joy. Holy smokes, those are they're happening now, and I'm feeling them right now. That to me is magical. When I first saw this, I thought, whoa, this is crazy. How often am I held hostage in the past, and I just sit there and I stew on things over and over, almost without even thinking about it. So why is it that the happiest people, when their minds are wandering, that they are able to kind of catch it, check it, change it? They come back and be like, okay, man, that's not a healthy place to be. That they're aware of their emotions. The most unhappy people, when their minds wander, they just let it wander and go. And then they stew, and then they stress, and then they worry, especially about things you have zero control over. Women are really good at worrying about things they have zero control over. All this, and what's this person going to think? And oh my goodness, if I did this and all this. Oh man, that is not a healthy place to be. The most is right here. Experience it in the moment. Pay attention to who you're with, what you're doing, finding joy in that. And then I even encourage, if you're in families, you go home and you talk about it, and you end the night with what's called happy thought. We've been doing the Schramm fam for about 18 years. Great little, doesn't take long in our family. We have a little family prayer at night, and then I say one thing that made me happy, and my wife does. Then each of our 4 kids say one thing that just made them, my happy thought is, right? And they share whatever happened that day. Then they're ending the day on a happiness and positivity in their lives. Focusing right there. The happiest people on this planet, They're aware of their emotions. They don't just let them go everywhere they want. They're able to catch it, check it, change it, come back. Now, of course, hope, optimism, anticipation, all those are great. Those are all future things. How many of you have a summer vacation? Anything planned that you're looking forward to this summer? Good. Talk about it. Write it down. Countdown chain or whatever, and you anticipate it, because looking forward to something actually produces in your body those chemicals, emotions, this excitement. It's Bear Lake, it's Disneyland, wherever you're going, Lake Powell. Thinking about it, planning for it, that is the excitement. Because what actually happens on vacations? Hell breaks loose, and it rains at Disneyland, and you're at Lake Powell, and the boat tips over. All this other crazy stuff happens on like trips. They don't always go in your head like you planned. So soak in like the planning and the preparation and the talk about it, and get excited about who's excited for, we go up to Lake Powell, we're going to a cabin this weekend. Talk about the good stuff. Look forward to it. Plan for it. That's the good life. The happiest people on the planet, they know, they're aware of their emotions. Okay, gratitude. We talked a little bit about gratitude earlier, but man, I love this area. It's exploded. We know from studies that gratitude helps us recover from loss and trauma. Oh, hold on. Everyone in this room has experienced loss or trauma. We all have. Some more recently than others. So gratitude, loss and trauma, it helps us to deal with the slow drip of everyday stress, as well as the massive personal upheavals in the face of suffering and pain and loss and trials and tribulations. He says gratitude is absolutely essential. It's part of our psychological immune system. What? I didn't even know we had a psychological immune system. Did anyone know we had a psychological immune system? Purpose of an immune system is what? Help us, when we get sick, help us recover. And what are you taking right now to help your immune system? Like Utah is the mecca of, this oil and this essential oil. I'm taking this and this black seed, and I'm doing holy cow, it's great. It's craziness. So we're taking all these things to boost our immune system. Now you have a strong immune system. Does that mean you're not going to get sick? No, you're probably going to get sick still. But what does a strong immune system mean? And this has been shown, study after study. You have a strong immune system, you're sleeping good, low stress, that you're able to recover faster. When you have a strong immune system, recovery is like this rather than this. So what does that mean for a strong psychological immune system? Doesn't mean the stresses and negative stuff's not going to happen at work or at home. But what does it mean? When it does happen, you're more likely to do this. You see things differently. You see the stressor differently. You're able to respond differently. Instead of being I call it first responder. How many of you are first responders? Yes, I love that metaphor, because you respond instead of react. I call it nuclear reactors. Nuclear reactors, they show up and they're saying like, oh my gosh, it would be awful. You show up to a scene and you're like, oh my heck, that is awful, sir. You're not going to make it. Oh man, that is awful. Like what? No, you would never say that. Nuclear reactors, they freak out under stress. First responders, they're like, okay, let me assess this. Same thing under stress. Be a first responder, not a nuclear reactor. Positive, right? We can assess that. Gratitude. Okay, so here's a few go-to gratitude hacks. Each one of these has been shown to improve gratitude. This is building your psychological immune system. 3 good things. Simple little thing that you can do. My daughter has a little gratitude journal. She just writes down 3 good things. Why they happen. Okay, top 10 people, places, experiences, and things in your life. If we had more time and a piece of paper or whatever, I'd have you go through and just write down. All right, because did you know that you can only be grateful for 4 areas? People, places, experiences, things. That's it. And if you write down your top 10 people in your life you're so grateful for, make that list. And then the top 10 places that you've ever been visited. And then the things, whether it's your phone or your car or whatever else, just stuff. Write those, and experiences that you've had, write those down. That is such a good activity for you, your kiddos, whoever. Write those things down, because what are you not thinking about when you're writing those down? You're not thinking about you. No one has ever done this exercise, and at the top of the list of people I'm grateful for is me. I'm grateful for myself. That's me. No one has ever done that. And now, what do you do next? If you really want to improve your gratitude, and all right, you're going to cry at this one. You write a letter to those people on your list. You write a letter. You simply write a letter and let them know how grateful you are. Or a text, right? Or an email or whatever, but you let them know. The top tier of this, what the research shows, you write a letter to someone that has impacted your life. This is a grandparent, this is a former teacher, this is someone, in your neighborhood. You write a letter and then you actually sit down and you read that letter out loud to them. Man, you're going to cry. Okay, if not, like email it or whatever, but write down. The principle is this: we should never fail to thank those who have taught us well. We should never fail to thank those who have taught us well. People who live longest in this life are grateful people. Another thing you can do. Many of your parents, I'm guessing, are still living. Some of you have lost your parents. If your parents are still living, this is what I did. This is several years ago. My 40th birthday. Not 40 anymore. And I asked my parents, my mom and my dad, they still live in good old Payson. And I said, Mom, Dad, my birthday's coming up. And this is all I want from you. I want a letter from you, Mom, and a letter from you, Dad, as if it's the last letter you would ever write to me in this life. They're like, whoa, Dave, that's deep. And I said, yep, that's what I want. I want a handwritten letter from you, Mom, and from you, Dad. What would you tell me? This is the last thing you can ever tell me. Words of counsel. What do you want me to know, to always remember, the kind of dad you want me to be, the kind of husband? Write it down. I want to hear it from you. If your parents are still living, ask them for that letter, as if it's the last letter. If you have kiddos, write the letter to them, even if they didn't ask for it, because it's going to mean the world to me. Now my mom, she's got liver cancer and going through it right now. I have those letters. And now those letters are treasures to me. Yeah, my dad actually wrote me a letter. Isn't that awesome? It's like the only letter, right? And I have these letters. I'm telling you, write the letter or ask for the letters before it's too late. Okay, happy thoughts best. I talked a little bit about that earlier. Just ending the day, beginning of the day. You guys have meetings. You guys have a lot of meetings. If you have any control over these meetings, make the suggestion. Just say, hey, can we start every meeting with just like the happy thought? Just whatever is making someone happy that day. Right? And it could be my happy thought is I woke up on the right side of the bed or whatever it is, but share something that made you happy that day. Start with positivity. End the day with positivity. I'm telling you, it builds emotional and psychological resilience for all the tough stuff that you're going to face. Okay, mental subtraction. Go back up to that list of top 10 people, places, experiences, and things, and just mentally subtract. What would my life be like without? And put in a person, put in a place, put in an experience. What would my life be like without this person in my life? Wow, that would be really rough. That will make you, improves the gratitude. Text 2 before 10. Text 2 people before 10 a.m. This one's a pretty easy one, simple. In fact, what I want you to do right now, here in a second, I'm going to give you the instructions. I want you to pull out your phone and I want you to text someone. Okay, don't do it yet. But in your mind, just think, who needs a text from me right now? Who have I failed to thank, right? Here's the principle. We should never fail to thank those who have taught us well. Maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a coworker. But right now, pull out your phone. We're just going to do it. It's going to take like 30 seconds. Pull out your phone and send a text of gratitude, of appreciation. Could be to your teenager. Hey, just need to let you know, I absolutely love being your dad. And if you get a text back, it's like, okay, right? Then that is love. That is love. Or bruh with a question mark or whatever. I'm telling you, pull out your phone and send that text. But be specific. Not like, you're awesome. It's like, what? Telling you this little practice right here will strengthen relationships about as fast as anything I know. Because it's just a random text of kindness right out of the blue. Hey, just thinking about you. Hey, I just need to let you know So thankful for when you do this or you do that, or man, mom and dad, I never thanked you enough. Boom, send that text. And how long does it take? Like 30 seconds. But if you want a game changer in your life, set a reminder in your phone. I just say 10 o'clock. Text 2 people before 10. Don't text them like 6 a.m. though. That'll tick them off. Yeah, and worry them or whatever. But put that in your phone. If you're even do this 3 days a week, have a little text. It just says, bing, text 2 before 10. You text 2 people and you just say, who needs a text from me right now? And then act on it. Change your life. I'm telling you, it is an absolute game changer. Now, some of you are going to get a text back here in the next few minutes. Some of you are going to get a text back that's like, you okay? You okay? You good? Or it's like, what do you want? Yeah, or whatever. Okay, that might mean you need to text that person a little bit more often than once every never. Okay, so text, just think about it. Okay, who needs a text from me? And send that text. In the morning time, just think about it and then act on it. 30 seconds, change your life faster than any other 30 seconds. Okay, I've done this all over the place, all over the whole country. Here's some of the funny ones. Hey, having a great time at my conference. Makes me realize what a special family we have. I love you both. Greg's like, who is this? She's like, wrong number, lady. Okay. So if you get this kind of text, it means you might need to text your kids a little bit more often. Okay, this one is, hi, sweetie, just thinking about how sweet and kind you are. Who is this? Your husband. Is this meeting that dull and uninteresting that you're like texting me during it? No, this guy told me I had to text you. Yeah, don't put that in the text. Then that will ruin the whole thing. I'm telling you, text 2 before 10. Absolute game changer. Yeah, absolute game changer. I actually had a person come up afterwards when I was presenting. She was in tears. I was like, man, are you all right? She said, when you told me to do that, there's this friend I've been thinking about. We need to go to lunch. We need to go to lunch. We need to go to lunch. She's been on my mind, but then you actually told me, right? Text people. She's the one who popped in. Sent her a text. And she said, man, I'm so grateful that you text. I've really been struggling. She talked about suicidal thoughts and said, yes, we need to go to lunch as soon as we can. Thank you for caring and for checking in. You see that? Check in. What's the most important thing in this life? It's not your job. It's people. Work with people in your job. Does that make sense? It's right there. 80%, 86% says family, relationship. Take 30 seconds to check in with the most important people in your life. Just check in more frequently than you're doing, and you will be happier, and you'll have stronger connections, which is the greatest predictor of how long and how well you live in this life. Okay, RACs. Random acts of kindness. Man, this one, you thought gratitude was good. Random acts of kindness. In all the studies in the last 30 years in positive psychology, this one has been shown to improve happiness faster than anything else. Doing a kind act produces the single most reliable momentary increased well-being of any exercise that they have ever tested. Ever. If you want to be happy, gratitude, kindness. I really see those as two sides of the same coin. When you're grateful, when someone is kind on this side of the coin, hopefully you're grateful and you express, hey, thanks so much for grabbing me a drink, or hey, thanks so much for checking in. Do you see how gratitude and kindness are like twins? Those two go together and they're the strongest predictors. You're happier at home, you're happier in your life, you're going to be better at work, you're going to be more focused. Do you see how this is really the foundation of life and living and work and everything else? It's this. This is the nuts and bolts of it. Doing something kind for someone else. And why are these the keys? Because gratitude and kindness are never about you. And that is the secret sauce to this whole thing. Gratitude and kindness, strongest predictors of happiness. Why? Because it's not about you. It's about someone else. Your text was not about you. It was about someone else. That is the secret sauce to happiness. Workplace and at home. Okay, eyes up for the good stuff. We tend to notice and find whatever we're looking for. So years ago when we first moved in, this is not our house, by the way. Yeah, our flower beds don't look like that. But we decided to do some yard work and hey, let's remodel some things outside. Let's get some curbing and stuff in there. So how often do you think I was paying attention to our neighbors' yards before we were going to redo our yard? Like never, right? I just drove by. I had no idea what plants or what was happening in anyone's yards. But all of a sudden now we're going to redo our yard. So what am I paying attention to? Oh, yeah, I started learning about, hostas. Oh, a hosta, this is a plant that requires shade and all this and how far apart. All of a sudden I'm interested in all this other stuff. Why? Because I was looking for it. The principle is this. You will always find what you're looking for. Yeah, you have a crummy boss and you think in your mind, man, this person is awful. I wish we could have a different. You will always find what's wrong with them. Complainers will always find things to complain about. You got a cranky teenager, you will only see them as a cranky teenager, therefore you will treat them as a cranky teenager. You will always find what you're looking for, the good or the bad. Complainers will always find things to complain about. Happy, positive people will always find the good stuff. And it'll drive you nuts, right? Happy people drive some of you absolutely crazy. You're happy all the time. That's what it is. Gratitude, if you're grateful, you'll find things to be grateful for. It's practiced. Okay, and here's the key, right? We're 5 times as likely to notice the negative and see mistakes. How many of you saw that? How many of you saw the mistake before it was even left there? Right? Yeah, because you're wired to look for mistakes. We're born, did you know this? We're born with 5 times as many brain cells, neurons, 5 times as many that are wired for negativity and threat, for every one that is wired for good stuff, for positivity and stuff. So already we're 5 times as critical and negative about other people, our job, the situation. We're looking for threats. You guys are actually looking for threats all the time. So you got to work 10 times as hard because you're looking for the negative, right? And drugs or what's going on, these signs of people. We're looking, teachers are wired for, mistakes. You go through and correct this in the math problem. This is not a noun, this is a verb, and get the red highlighter out. We're wired to notice the mistakes in your kids, the way they dress, their earrings, their look, their smell, their hair. You got a pimple, let me pop that before you go out. Are you really going to go out looking like that? Holy cow, look in the mirror first before you go out. We're just constantly critical. 5 times as critical than we are as positive. That's why the workers are like, I would stay if this person was more grateful. They're all critical all the time. We're 5 times more likely to notice the brown patch in your lawn rather than the entire lawn is green and you got a brown patch. What are you going to focus on? The brown patch. School just got out. Report cards came out. Your kid has 5 A's and a C minus. Where's your brain going to go? Right to the C minus, man. What happened? I thought you were going to go and get some help. Retake that math test. You're going to get help. We go right for the negative. Hanging out Christmas lights, and you drive by later that night and you notice what? It's the one dang bulb that's burned out, man. It just drives you nuts. We are actually hardwired to notice threats and negativity in other people and situations. So especially if you're working in one of these situations where your job requires you to notice the negative, you got to work so much harder to find the positive in your spouse, your situation, your kids, your work, your boss, your coworkers. We're drawn more to imperfections than we are to the good stuff. Just a fact. So recognize that and be like, okay, I actually have to work really hard to be positive about this because I'm surrounded by negativity. People that are coming in, they're complaining, and it's making me cranky. Stop, pay attention, notice. Man, my heart rate's increasing right now. Or man, I'm caught up in this cycle of this person's complaining and I'm going to join in too. It's easy to join in the complainers. Okay, what can you do? Start your day in a better way. I don't know. Okay, how many of you are morning people? Raise your hand. Okay, let's just get rid of them right now. Everyone, just get out of here. No, just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not a morning person. Okay, there I am. Now I'm a morning. This is me. Every morning I pop out of bed. No, it's not. I'm not a morning person. But I'm telling you, how you start your day will affect the rest of your day completely. They've done studies with music, and you listen to a song first thing in the morning when your brain's like, woo, open to everything. Have you had a song stuck in your head for the rest of the day? Yeah, it is. Your brain, after you sleep, the brain actually is just white. It's like a sponge. Whatever you feed it in the first 30 minutes to an hour is more likely to stick. That's why they say go to bed early for the students and college students. Get up early and study, and you will be able to remember it long. Okay, so exercise, yoga, stretch, prayer, meditation, listening to good things, all good stuff. Instead of scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls when you first wake up. Scrolling. No, that's not good. Drink a full glass of water. Now everybody in here is going to text 2 people before 10 a.m., aren't you? Okay, maybe one person in this room is going to do that, but it will change. Start your day better. Start a day. If you have a great start to your day, that's great. You exercise, you do this, you do. You have your little routine, great. If you just kind of whirl out of bed and grab my Red Bull and you have to do that, just try it. Try it. A different way to start your day. It'll make your whole day go differently. Okay, so nailing these 3 needs: safety, satisfaction, connection, both at home, at work. Think about those. How am I connecting? Yeah, the good stuff in life, making sure this environment feels emotionally safe. Only 36% of employees believe their employer meets all 3 needs at work. And I don't know how it is here, but man, we have room for improvement. We have room for improvement at home about how we treat other people, kindness, gratitude in the workplace and at home. Here are some free resources. USU Extension resources. Man, we have all kinds of stuff. We just launched like over 100 free, from 15 minutes videos to like 18-hour courses on step families and remarriage and dating and all kinds of stuff on parenting, marriage, happiness classes. The podcast is actually now Utah's number one marriage podcast in Utah is our podcast called Stronger Marriage Connection. I'm telling you, you're traveling to there, pop in a podcast, listen to the resources, all kinds of stuff on YouTube about 5 minutes, 3 minutes, little tip here and there, parenting tip, dealing with teens, dealing with toddlers, doing this. Here are some things, man, that will be able to help you. Everything I talked about, it's on either on the podcast or on YouTube videos and stuff that we've created. Okay, some of you are like, man, this is kind of cool stuff. Here, I call these my Dave's faves, My favorite books of all time. I've listened to or read over 100 books in this area. These are some of my go-to. These are not academic, crazy ones to understand, but simple things that can help us in our lives. Okay, before I share this, let me ask, raise a hand, how many of you have received a text back by chance when you sent your text? Okay, yeah. Some of you haven't yet. It's all right. They're in meeting. They're doing something really, and they're parenting, or they're doing something really important. You'll get a text back. And some of you are like, oh, that's super cool, that response. Come up and share those, with me. How many of you have ever had a tough time getting your kids to bed? You're just like, man, yeah, every parent everywhere has always had that. It's like, okay, holy smokes. Our kids were 8, 6, 4, and 2 in Missouri, okay? 8, 6, 4, and 2 already. My wife was frazzled. She stays home with them. I came home one day and came walking on the door. She's like, honey, I've had it. I could already tell, like, oh man, something's happened here. I am done being a parent. They're all yours for the rest of the night. And she stormed off to the room. I was like, all right, kids, all right, we got this. So I got them dinner. Then it was like tubby time and lotion time and then story time and then potty time. And man, it was, music time. This whole, that whole night routine takes 30 minutes. I don't know why. But I'm like, all right, guys, stay in your beds and giving them hugs and singing the songs and doing the whole night routine with them. And then it was more like, okay, good night. Okay, stay in your beds. Okay, oh, I know, love you. Okay, stay in your beds tonight. Don't come out, all right? And that is code for what? Oh, yeah, we're coming out. And so then I was a little bit more gruff. I'm like, okay, I'm serious. I mean it. And I learned that those are the 2 worst words you can ever tell your kids. I'm serious. No, I mean it. You stay in your bed. No, I'm serious. You come out one more time and I'm going to, right? And every single one of us, even Dr. Dave, has said those words. So they keep coming out. Like, man, these kids, they're driving me nuts. And in my temper, I'm like, okay, no more. And my voice is raising. And then I got to the point where I said something. Have you ever said anything to your kids that you regret? Okay, I got to that point. And this is what I said. I said, 4 kids are sitting there in the hallway. And I'm like, all right. No more of this. You guys stay in your room. In fact, $20 bill for everybody who stays in your room. Dang it, just stay in your room. I was desperate. I know it was horrible parenting, right? I was desperate. Just stay in your rooms, dang it. I was tempted to duct tape all their doors together so they couldn't open them. I was desperate. Stay in your rooms, dang it. And so they come out. I need a drink. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I got a gallon jug and a stack of Dixie cups. I'm like, all right. Here's the drink stations. Just get your drink. Go back to bed. No more. So I was huffing and puffing, and I go back to our room and I shut the door because I was done being a parent. My wife's like, how'd it go? I was like, nope, stay in your room, right? Stay, no more. I don't want to talk about it. And then like less than 5 minutes later, what do I hear? These footsteps coming down the hall right toward our bedroom door. And I got up and I walked over to the door, just listening to the door. And then I heard something on the door, like this pat, pat, pat. And that's when I bark, get back to your room. And I hear back down the hallway. And I go and I open the door and there's a note that our 8-year-old, she wrote a note and then she taped it to the door and then just took off. This is a copy of the actual note that she taped on the door. She said this. She said, thanks a lot. I know it can be hard being a mom or dad, but you got to stick with it. And I remember thinking, holy crap. Here's Dr. Dave, right? 10 years of school, and I'm supposed to be this, professional parent, help our kids. And it's like, oh man, yeah, this is hard. This is hard. Did you see it? What it says is, look on back. So I flipped the note over and it says, don't worry, we still love you. I was like, oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm telling you, the work that you do, super important. You're impacting lives. Like the best work you can do is people. It's like you work with people. Holy smokes. So slow down. Realize that life, as important as your work is, your life is not your work. Remember, most people work so they can live. They don't live so they can work. Balancing all of that is critically important. When you're at work, it's one of the strongest predictors. Who you're with, your attitude, gratitude, kindness, appreciation, expressing those little things will strengthen your relationships faster than anything else. Remember the 3 needs. What are the 3 needs, dang it? Safety, satisfaction, and connection. It's connection. And you're never going to get lack of attention leads to loss of connection. Pay attention to what matters most in this life. And it's not things, right? The most important things in life are not things. It's people. It's relationships. It's connections. So as you apply these little principles in your lives, improve the positivity, happiness, well-being, just take one of these. Start your day in a better way, or text 2 before 10, or kindness, gratitude. Just try one of these and implement it in your life. I'm telling you, you'll see the effects. It will spill over into your relationships with your partner, with your kids. They'll see it. They'll notice. You'll be happier. At work, things will go better. It will in your relationships. I hope it's been helpful. Take it, try it, and it will change you. Thank you.